Hi, I'm Don Dan from SampleLibraryReview.com. Today we're going to be checking out Lyra and Musca, new string libraries from Vienna Symphonic Library. Continuing on in their Big Bang Orchestral series, Vienna has released Lyra and Musca. This is high and low string ensembles. Lyra promising shimmering and well-balanced high string ensemble instruments, recordings from 14 first violins, 12 second violins playing in unison, with 8 violas playing an octave below. Musca is their low-string ensemble, and this one's promising homogeneous balanced sound, providing a well-rounded low end with 6 cellos, 4 basses playing together in octaves. Both of these libraries were captured on Stage A of the Synchron Stage and are compatible with the free Synchron player from Vienna Symphonic Library. Lyra downloads as 8.5 gigabytes, recorded on the Synchron Stage. It contains multiple mic positions and additional section mic positions. There's real legatos, glissandos, expressive swells, trills, pizzicato, shorts, longs, and it is running in the Synchron player, so you do have tempo, sync, and stretch abilities for those repetitions and glissandos. It does require the free Synchron player, a UVST AAX, and a Vienna key or other USB-E licenser. Library normally sells for €95. Some special intro price till the very end of July 2020 for €65. Musca downloads as 9.1 gigabytes, recorded at the Synchron Stage, contains multiple mic positions and additional section mic positions, has the same articulations as Lyra, including legatos, glissandos, expressive swells, trills, pizzicato, shorts, and long notes. It does run in the Synchron player, so you've got tempo, sync, stretch with those repetitions and glissandos that'll come in handy. And there are special patches that combine both Lyra and Musca, so you can have both on the same keyboard. It does require the free Synchron player as an AU, VST, or AAX compatible plugin, and a Vienna key or other USB licenser. Musca normally sells for €95. Grab it now for €65 during that special intro price at the end of July 2020. Alright, before we jump into a first look, playing through all the articulations, just kind of getting a feel for the instrument, when I was finished with doing all that, I went ahead and mocked up a piece to learn about using the library and how it might fit into my workflow, getting a feel for a real-world kind of mock-up experience. This is kind of a scory thing. I've been experimenting in this style for a little while now, kind of this dark, Dracula is in the room kind of thing. So I'm just going to play through this mock-up for you to hear, and then I'll break down each of the parts before we jump into the first look. Alright, for this mock-up that I put together, I'm just going to play through some of the parts separately so you can hear these strings as I've programmed them to give you a little better sound of how they break apart. Everything in this mock-up that I did is using Big Bang Orchestra libraries. All the strings, of course, are the new Big Bang high and low strings, Lyra and Musca. And then for all of the percussion, I use the Synchron percussion for the percussion to back up this track. The other thing to note is that I did use the free version of Big Bang Orchestra just to do those big tooty hits that you hear at the beginning and the end. So let's just mute my mic. I'm going to play through some of these so you can hear some of the effects and sounds I got out of the instruments. And a note there, you heard that was all legato. I switched from that light vibrato to the marcato. You could really hear that marcato dig in. This is one of the things I love about these libraries thus far, is they do include the ability to do legato marcato, so I don't have to go back and fool around and add a separate attack on a separate track. Really nice sound overall. I did use the classic room mix for the sound of this playing back, so that's something anybody can grab with their mix presets. For the glissandos, this little wow part that I really liked, I went ahead and used my stretch function. I was using the glissando minor second, and that one minor second down, but I went ahead and used the stretch function because I wanted it to be a lot quicker. I had to crank it up pretty high, and as you can see, it's on both of those. I have had problems playing multiple notes when I'm using stretching, using the Synchron player and the Big Bang Orchestra libraries. So that's why I doubled up and did a high and low, so that's just playing one note each, and then it doesn't choke up my CPU. That's just something I've had throughout the library. So let's just listen back to these. Yeah, you get the idea there. And you'll notice that I had to freeze those tracks. There's simply too much CPU going on, spiking going on when I utilize the stretch functionality in Synchron Player and try to use screen recording. I was able to get it playback like 90% of the time without choking up my CPU using that stretch functionality. And I'm really hoping that in the future that all the kinks are worked out of that, because that's just a really great addition to these libraries. I'm going to go ahead and do the low strings next. I'll pull those up for you here. I did one where I did a pizzicato and a staccato line, and then I did one where it's got the staccatos as well as those fast repetitions. So I'll mute my mic and play back those so you can hear them. Real simplistic on its own, but it works in context, in my humble opinion. I'm going to go ahead and just play all of the percussion on their own, using the Synchron Player percussion that is not a Big Bang Orchestra library, but there's several of those there, and I'll pull those up here. You can see we've got bass drum, snare, tambourine, concert tom, cymbals, tom-toms, and timpani. I'll just play those here. And then to really drive in my main hits, I used the Big Bang Orchestra, the free version. Anybody can download this. Just a note, though, as I mentioned, it does require the Vienna key or an e-licenser by Steinberg. So Vienna key, highly recommended, in my opinion. I'll just play back just those hits at the end so you can hear them. You get the idea there. I'm going to go ahead and play just that last part with the toms and with the drums and the Big Bang Free Orchestra so you can hear them all blend together. Yeah, it just gives it a little bit of bite and accents when you hear it all together. I'm going to play through the end section one more time with everything on, just so you can hear how they work together now that we've broken them apart. Now let's jump back in time when I first opened up the library and learned about all the articulations that come with Lyra and Musca. All right, I've got Lyra loaded up. This is the high strings. We're going to be looking at both of them. And then at the end, we're going to look at the patch that they've created that contains both the high strings and the low strings mapped across the keyboard. It's either divided across the keyboard or overlapped. With Lyra, you have the same articulations we've been seeing across most of the Big Bang Orchestra, except there's some string-specific ones. I'm excited to check those out. I'm going to mute my mic and play through the shorts, and so we can get a feel for what those sound like right out of the box. And there's an agile one. This is for faster playing. Now with the shorts, I always like to take a look at the mixer presets, and we can look at the mix here, and we can see that it loads up with a classic room mix, which is this room mix here, and none of the other mics, well, mid and closer on a little bit. Let's go ahead to the wide room. I really like those wide sounding mixes. And we'll go to the stereo deca mixes. Here's the classic one. And we'll check out one more mix with my favorite one, the wide surround to stereo. And with this one, you can hear when we do this wide surround to stereo with these wide mixes, we're very heavy on the left side. Of course, that's where the violins and violas live. So I'm not sure if I would use this for the strings because I would want them a little bit over into my right ear as well. Let's continue on. We'll listen to the long notes. We got light vibrato. And I do have the velocity effects or velocity fader version loaded up, which means that I'm using my MIDI CC1 to control my dynamics. Strong vibrato. And it looks like a crossfade vibrato. And an espressivo's got a little bit of a kind of gets in there slowly. Legato. And this is the marcato. There's also a light vibrato. And a strong vibrato. I do like the sound of the air, that high string resonance of that bow on the strings that reverberates in the hall. And then we've got our dynamics, and this is where these kind of ensembles, the Big Bang Orchestra that Vienna is releasing, this is where it really shines, because normally you'll get an ensemble, what they call an entry-level ensemble, and you just don't have this range of articulations. Got a really nice release sample too, I do have to note that. We got tremolos and trills. And then fast repetition notes, and this is pretty cool. This is just a nice rebowing of the string at 120, 140, and 160. And you can hear you've got the ability to have the release note. Or cut. And this is always one of the things I dig in when I'm checking out these instruments. They do have a stretch function in Synchron Player. I'm turning stretch on, going to sync tempo. I'm at 120 sample set. And I'm now at 140. And now 160. Now I'm going to go to 125. Just so that the stretch function is doing something. Alright, continuing on, we've got glissandos. Yeah, those sound really nice. And pizzicato. Alright, we're going to go ahead and move along into Musca. And we've got low strings with the velocity crossfade, just because I like to play with that one myself. Yeah, I really like the sound of these. These are nice. And then move into our legatos. Dynamics. And now we're to our repetitions. Glissandos. Pizzicato. Now we're going to dig into what is probably the most exciting patch. Once you have both of these, you're able to load up a full string ensemble. And there's a couple ways it's created with low strings across the low keys, divided at C4, high strings across the high keys. And with these, I think there's a number of ways. You've got high-low modes here. You're able to change that over to fully overlapping now. Which sounds pretty even. With the divided at C, I do hear that difference right at C4. If I do the overlap, I do like the way that works. That's really nice. This would probably be pretty neat for utilizing things like the glissandos. as well as playing pizzicato. Before we wrap anything up here, I do want to listen to the low strings with a couple of those mixer presets that I like so much. We'll just start with the surround to stereo, wide. Really liking these mix presets. I'll tell you what, on the strings, I think I probably am going to gravitate more towards the stereo deca wide, whereas with a lot of the other instruments, I've been gravitating towards the wide surround to stereo mix, and that's just kind of my personal preference on those. As far as what Lyra and Musca have to offer here, I think the sample set sounds really fantastic. I like the way that Vienna has captured that high, lively string air, where you get that resonance of all those bows moving across the strings and those high-end frequencies bouncing around on the Synchron Stage. I think the ability to choose the same articulations throughout the entire instruments, high and low, is fantastic, and I've noted on almost all my reviews or checking out videos of Big Bang Orchestra that this is such a robust sample set for an entry level, or what they're calling an entry level ensemble library. More and more composers work with ensembles because of speed, because of getting great sounds right off the bat, and I feel like just this little preview of Lyra and Musca has gotten me very excited. I'd love to hear what you think about this sample set. Love to hear your comment below. Please let me know what you think. I try to read through all the comments and helps guide me. Please show your support with a thumbs up. That's the like, share, or subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And be sure to head over to samplelibraryreview.com for the latest news, reviews, and our weekly deals page.